Hi everyone, thank you for subscribing to my channel and thank you for being with me today too on my video. My name is Richard and I'm the CEO for Richard Educational Consult. I'm a motivator and a YouTuber. I'm a content creator. On today's video, we are going to talk about the things to look out for before applying to a school abroad. Things you need to look out for before applying to a school abroad. I always say this, that before you apply to a school or before you even decide to apply to a school abroad, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, am I really ready to leave my home country to a different country? I know most people wouldn't bear with me with this question, but it is very important because when I first moved from my home country to the US, I couldn't sleep for the first 1 month because I was always thinking about the things that I would have been doing when I was in my home country. And here, when you come here as a freshman or as a stranger, you don't know anybody, you are yet to make friends, you are yet to talk to people, you are yet to... And one thing about Americans is that, I'm not here to talk about Americans, but one thing about Americans is that anytime you talk to them, they just want to know more about your country. So they'll ask you, where are you from? And sometimes you meet someone and you talk to the person today, and the following day when you meet the person and you say hi, the person wouldn't look at you. And when we are from Africa, it's not like that, because in Africa, when we talk to someone today, we expect the person to be our friend tomorrow. But in America, it's not easy. It's not like that. Because in America, when you talk to someone today, the following day when you meet the person, don't expect the person to say hi to you. And if the person doesn't say hi to you, it doesn't mean the person hates you or you are not his friend or her friend. That is not how friendship are being made in America. So because of this, I really missed home for the first 1 month I moved into America. So before you apply to a school abroad, the first thing you need to think about is, am I really ready to leave my home country to study in abroad, to have a new life in abroad, to have a new life somewhere else? So you need to first thought of that. And the second thing I would like to talk about is, before it comes into your mind to apply to a school, you need to make sure you have all your documents packed. You have all your documents intact. Most of the times, people will just call me to apply to a school for them, and you ask them, send me your transcript, and the person will be like, transcript? I don't even know I need to apply with a transcript. So before you apply to a school abroad, you need to gather your transcript or your document. So you need to make sure you've gone for your transcript from your school. You need to go for your transcript. And the second thing is your certificate. Your certificate is very, very important. Today, I'm not going to use the American accent. Let me use the British accent. So the certificate is very, very important. And recommendation letter. These are the 3 important documents that you will need before applying to a school abroad or in the US or Canada or UK, Ireland, Switzerland, Australia. So these 3 documents are very important because it talks much about you as a student, and it tells the school much about you. Because if you don't apply with your transcript, how would the school knows your performance, and how would the school admit you in a specific program you want to pursue in their school? So it is very important that you gather your document, your transcript, your recommendation, and your certificate. And the next thing is that before you apply to a school in the US, you have to make sure that you have a passport. A passport. Because in the application, the school will ask you to scan a copy of your passport to them. So if you don't have a passport, I will plead with you that you need to get a passport before thinking of studying abroad. So you need to get a passport, you need to get your transcript, your certificate, and your recommendation letter from your school. These 3 things are very important. And the fourth thing I will talk about is, you should know that there are some schools that required application fee. and there are some schools that have already waived the application fee. So you need to know the type of school you want to apply to. There are some schools you don't pay for application fee, and there are some schools you need to pay for application fee. Some will ask you to pay $35, some will ask you to pay $50, some will ask you to pay $75, some will ask you to also pay $100, depending on the kind of school you want to go. So if you want to pursue, let's say you have this aim of studying in the US, and you've been given this option to apply to 2 schools, and the first school is with the first school you are going to pay application fee, and the second school you are not going to pay for application fee. So which one are you going to apply to? I want to see your answers on the comment section. So you need to check the kind and the type of school you want to apply to before you proceed with your application. There are some schools you don't pay application fee, like my school, Walsh University. You don't pay any application fee. It is application waiver. They've already waived the application fee, so there is no application fee. So even if someone is applying for you, you shouldn't let a person ask you for application fee, because for Walsh you don't pay for application fee. So I will do another video on schools that seek for application fees and schools that has already waived the application fee, so that you will know the kind of school you apply to. So you have to make sure that you know whether the school you are going to pay for application fee and the school you are not going to pay for application fee. And there are some schools the chance of getting admission is very low, and there are some schools the chance of getting admission is very high, depending on your financial background. Let's take it for instance, if I'm applying to Harvard University. Harvard University, I didn't write any SAT. I'm not from a strong financial background family, and I have a good grade, I have a good GPA. The possibility of getting admission at Harvard is very low. They are not going to admit me, because for Harvard they don't look at your certificate, although your certificate is very important, but they look at your financial background, because the tuition and the boarding is very expensive in Harvard. So most students in Harvard are on scholarship. Either they are on full scholarship or partial scholarship. So let's take it for instance, you are paying $80,000 for a year in Harvard. $80,000 for a year in Harvard. It's very expensive. It's very, very expensive. $80,000. How are you going to find that money? So every semester you are going to pay $40,000 as a tuition and a boarding. It's so much expensive. So there are some schools you need to know the kind of school you are applying to, and you need to check the tuition rate. The tuition rate, it is very important. The tuition rate. So you need to know whether the school you are going to pay for, you are going to pay a low tuition or a higher tuition. So you need to check that. It is very, very important. And the fifth thing I will talk about is, before you apply to the school, check your financial status. It's very important. Check your financial status. I know a lot of international students who are in the US who have been homeless because they have the eager to come to the US to study, but they didn't check their financial status. Some came with a fake document, and when they come, they find it difficult, thinking that when they come to the US, they are going to secure a job to pay their fees. But it's not like that. So before you think of applying to a school in the US, you need to first check your financial status. It's very, very important. I, for instance, I'm on partial scholarship. 70% of my tuition are being paid by the school, and the 30% of my tuition is my dad who paid. So it's my family who paid. Let me say family. So before you apply to the school, you need to check your financial status. It's very, very important. And the next thing I will talk about is scholarships. You need to check the scholarship. You need to check whether the school gives scholarship or not. There are some schools they give scholarship. There are some schools they don't give scholarships to international students, only traditional students. So you need to check whether your school gives scholarship. There are numerous of schools in the US who gives full scholarship for graduate students. For undergrad, nowadays it is very difficult to secure a full scholarship as an undergrad. But as a graduate student, it is possible, 100% possible, to secure a full scholarship in the US. So please, you need to check the scholarship rate of the school you are applying to. So the first one I talked about, asking yourself whether you are ready to leave your home country. The second thing is, the first one is leaving your home country. The second thing is gathering your document. When I say document, I'm talking about your transcript, your certificate, your recommendation, and a copy of your passport. You have to make sure you have passport before you even decide to apply to a school abroad or in the US. So you have to make sure you have a passport. And the next thing I talked about was one, knowing the school you are applying to. You need to know the school you are applying to. You need to know the school you are applying to. The fourth thing I spoke about is application fee. There are some schools, they don't ask for application fee. They've already waived the application fee for international students. But there are some schools, they do take application fee. So you need to know the school you are applying to, whether they require application fee or they don't require application fee. And I said there are some schools, some of the schools, their application fees are very expensive. Some of them, you pay $35 as an application fee. Some of them you pay $75. Some will take $50. Some will even take $100. And now I think some of them also take $120 as an application fee. And there are some schools, they've waived the application fee. You don't need to pay any application fee to anybody. You just apply to the school and they give you admission. The only thing they will ask from you is that after you've been admitted, they will ask for your bank statement to issue you your I-20. So that is the thing. That is one thing you should know. And I spoke about checking your financial status. You need to check your financial status before thinking of schooling abroad. Because if you don't have a sponsor, you need to make sure you have a sponsor, or you have your own way of paying your tuition or securing money to pay your tuition before you apply to a school in the US. If not, that you will come to the US and you'll be stranded. And I don't want any member of Richard Educational Council to be stranded in the US or in any other country. And the sixth thing I will talk about is be ready for anything that comes. Because after applying to the school, the school will ask you for but before that, there are some schools, they will ask for a deposit. After you being admitted, they will ask for a deposit. The deposit, sometimes there are some schools, they will say, oh, the deposit is part of a tuition or part of housing. It doesn't mean it's a full tuition or a full housing. WASH, for instance, you are going to pay $350 as a tuition, as a deposit, sorry. And the deposit, half of it is is for housing, and half of it is for tuition. So before you apply to the school, you need to check these things, because there are some schools, they are going to ask you for a deposit. So be ready to send them their deposit when they ask for. And after a deposit, you need to check the location of your school, of the school you are applying to. The location is very, very important. The location of the school you are applying to. There are some schools that has a very good weather condition. In Ohio, for instance, it's very cold when we get into the winter season. It's very, very cold. Right now it's snowing and it's very, very, very cold. It's very, very, very cold. So there are some states like Arizona, Florida, they don't see snow, they don't experience snow. So as an international student, if you think that you are not okay with the cold weather, you can choose schools in Arizona or Florida, Texas, and I think that would be good for you. But for me, I'm strong, so I'm okay with snow or cold weather. So you need to check the weather condition of the state or the city you are applying to. It's very, very important. And please, if you have any question, you can drop it on the comment section and I'm going to answer. And before you apply to a school, these are the things that you need to look out for. It is very, very important. You need to look out for these things before it comes into your mind or before you decide to apply to a specific school. There are some schools, living there is very expensive. There are some schools, it's very, very expensive. In Ohio, I think Ohio things are less expensive as compared to those in New York, Virginia, Dakota, Seattle, and other states. Living in Ohio is less expensive, and I love being in Ohio, and I love being in my school. One day I'm going to talk about Walsh University. It's a very nice school with a small environment. So these are the things you need to look out for before applying to a school. You need to, one, ask yourself whether you are ready to leave your country. Two, you need to gather your document, your transcript, your certificate, your recommendation. And three, you need to have a passport. Four, check the school you are applying to, whether they have application, whether they are on application waiver or you pay application fee. The fifth one, you need to check the state that your school is located. The school you want to apply to, you need to check the state and the weather condition over there. You need to check. Sixth one, you need to check your financial status. It's very, very important. Check your financial status. It's very, very important. And three, check whether the school accepts a deposit or not. There are some schools, after admitting you, they will ask you to send a deposit. There are some schools, they don't accept any deposit. So you need to check that too, whether the school. And the fourth one, I nearly forgot. You need to check the program you want to pursue. There are some programs, some of the schools, they don't pursue that programs. So you need to look through the school's programs that they pursue, and you need to make sure you have your program of your choice before applying to the schools. And I said that there are some schools that has a very good weather condition. It doesn't snow. It is always a sunny, like there is always a sunlight in that state. Like Arizona, they don't experience any snow. So you need to check that. You need to know that. And please, your financial status, check it before. If you have any question, just feel free to ask on the comment section. So my next video will be out very soon. So see you in my next video. Thank you, and please subscribe, share, like the video, and comment on it. Bye bye.